Toxic masculinity. This concept has taken on a life all of its own. And what it now means in the social media and society at large is the women trying to make men not be men anymore. That's what the simpletons have taken it and reduced it down to. First, I want you all to note the qualifier. Toxic is a qualifier, meaning it's qualifying the word masculinity, meaning it's not saying masculinity is toxic. It's talking about toxic masculinity, meaning a version of masculinity, a version of it. We have cars, and then we have red cars, blue cars, black cars, green cars. You see what I mean? White cars. So when we're talking about toxic masculinity, we're talking about this version of it. That's the first thing that I want to clarify. Toxic masculinity is a brand of masculinity. So let's talk about the toxic portion. So it says there on your screen, the concept of toxic masculinity is one created and maintained by men, you guys. How, PTE? How in the world do men maintain toxic masculinity? Like this. This is how. You're the first ones to put yourselves in harm's way, and you expect the same out of other men. You're the most easily culted and most likely to form cults. You are the most accepting of circumstances that endanger yourself, and you kind of expect other men to be as well. You're okay with constantly having to prove yourself to other men. You're okay with constantly having to defend yourself from other men. You are taught to deny your own emotions, and you're taught to disassociate with your own body. Guys, that's toxic. This is toxic masculinity. Men uphold this toxic masculinity system. If you can't walk down the street without fear of another man or without the thought of, will I have to fight this man? Or for those of you who are carriers, will I have to pull out my firearm on this man? How many times have you had the thought walking by a woman, will I have to fight this woman or will I have to pull my firearm out on this woman? I mean, maybe. I think most men feel confident that they can handle a woman physically in terms of defending himself, but you're not always sure when it comes to another man, are you? That's scary. That's toxic. Toxic masculinity is not us asking you to put on skirts and heels and paint your fingernails pink and cry with us. It's asking you to actually be masculine without the toxicity. But what has happened is society has raised many men to be masculine and toxic. And they've tried to qualify the toxicity as the more toxic you are, the more masculine, therefore, you are. And that is not true. And that's what we're trying to do away with. And that's what we're trying to dispose of